Mr. Altman, please tell us about your impression of the visit to Stepanakert and Nagorno-Karabakh.
So I spent about 2-3 days in Stepanakert. I went also to Shushi. Of course, I was really shocked by what I've seen because, when I was there were bombardment almost all the time. It was not always heavy bombardment, but the risk was always there. So we have met with people in basements. We have met with people who have fled their villages, their towns. They have tell us their story. We also have seen wounded people arriving at hospitals. We have seen also the bombardment of the maternity of Stepanakert. So what I've seen is indiscriminate bombing of cities, villages, towns, also targeting bombardment targeting hospitals, schools, cultural centers, churches, which is of course war crimes. I've seen that the people are very courageous there. They love, of course, their country. They want to stay there. They want to be free, of course. They want to live in peace. They ask for support. They ask for political intervention from the international community, and that's why I'm also here.
You saw yourself the war crimes, the cluster bombing, and other prohibited and restricted weapons. And recently, in this morning, we heard about using the white phosphorus against the civilians. What would you tell your government and the EU government about this, and what would you take as actions in the further, your further actions?
We have to investigate those crimes. The international community has to investigate those crimes and to sue and the people who have committed those crimes. This is against international law, so we have to be very strict on that, very affirmative on that. So and my country is a member of the UN Security Council, a member of the NATO, member of EU. So I will discuss that in my parliament, so that we have a clear voice on this issue, because this is really unacceptable. This is really against all laws, international laws, and so we should never accept that. And those who have committed that should be punished for that.
You talked about the major international organizations, NATO, UN Security Council. What chances do you see for Turkey to be excluded from the Security Council or from even NATO, considering that Turkey appeared to be non-trustful partner and international partner?
I agree with French President Macron that this is really a problem now for NATO, because a country which is supposed to be our partner in terms of security is fighting against Armenia, but also against our own security. Don't forget what is happening with Greece, with northern Syria, with Libya, and so this is really a threat for every nation around Turkey. So for Armenia, for Artsakh, but also for Europe, for Belgium. So I hope that this discussion will now accelerate, and that all government will open their eyes, because we should never accept that a country which is supposed to work with us for stability, for peace, is now exporting war, aggressivity, and so this really is an obstacle for the future for Turkey to be a member of NATO. This is against the charter of NATO, which forbids such action from a member of NATO.
Yesterday, the Defense Ministry of Armenia issued a video where a mercenary from Syria witnessed it and confirmed that he was hired to come to Azerbaijan and fight in the borderline, the first line, and he told everything that happened with them in the mercenaries. What was your impression and what information do you have on it?
I'm not surprised that Erdogan is using jihadist, terrorists. He did such things already in northern Syria. He did such thing already in Libya. What is surprising me and shocking me is that there is not a strong reaction from NATO, from the international community, because this is really a turn, an escalation in the way war is operated in this century. So using terrorists, using mercenaries, which we know will be very violent with population, who will threaten population really, and maybe hate some people, maybe kill and rape civilians, as I saw in northern Syria, because I have been there with the Kurds. I think this requires very, very strong reaction from international community, and that's something I'm saying in my country since already a month. I think this is really something which should be really opposed strongly by democracies.
And my last question about recognizing the independence of Artsakh. What chances do you see? Because Armenian government says that the only trustful and the only just way to protect the people of Artsakh is to recognize their independence.
I believe that the people of Artsakh have the right to choose their own future. They have the right to choose their freedom. We all know that they have that this territory has been attached to Azerbaijan by Stalin. It's not the only crime of Stalin. So we should not accept that these people cannot choose their own future by themselves and can choose for their independence and their own future. This is really legitimate, I guess, and that's something I'm supporting. I'm impressed, I must say, also by the support that people of Artsakh and Armenia get from their own diaspora, which is very active, and we have many Armenian friends in many European countries, and that's something which is very important, that's something on which you can count here in Armenia, and this diaspora has many friends like me in many countries, and that's something which is very important nowadays.